Soul Simmers, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I have something very exciting because I made another legacy challenge tracker. And this time it is for the Very Veggie legacy. So many of you have asked if I was going to make a tracker for this challenge, and of course I will make a tracker for this challenge. It is the basically follow-up of the Not So Berry challenge made by Lil Simsy. And if you're interested, I would highly recommend checking it out because this challenge again is so much fun and I could not pass on the opportunity to make a tracker for it. So let me show you how you can actually duplicate the tracker if you've downloaded it to begin with, and then we're going to delve into all the details of this tracker and the things that you need to know to use it to track your playthrough of the Very Veggie Legacy Challenge. So if you get this template from my shop link down below, it is completely free, so you don't have to pay anything to download it. It's just linked on my shop so that I can easily distribute the links to everyone. But if you actually get it through my shop, you will get this page. And I've actually had a lot of questions of people saying with prior templates, hey, I got the tracker, but I'm not allowed to edit anything. And that's because you first need to duplicate this template to your workspace. So once you get to this page, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna go into the top right corner and there's a little button that says duplicate. You can only duplicate it if you already have a Notion account. So if you don't have that, feel free to set one up. It is completely free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to download anything. It's fully web-based, but you do have to duplicate it to your own workspace. You do that by clicking here, then selecting which account. So if you have multiple Notion accounts, you can even decide to add it to one or the other. And then you basically just create a copy. Once you've created a copy to your workspace, it is all up to you whatever you do with the template. You can go ham and completely customize it if you want it even. But the reason that I have to do this is because if I gave you access to the source, that would mean that basically every change that you make in here would be visible for the next person that downloads it, and we obviously don't want that. To begin with, if you download this, make sure that you duplicate it with the button at the top. And now that we have that out of the way, let's actually dive into the nitty-gritty of this template because this one was a very fun one to make. So I have quickly created a test copy for myself so that I can actually edit it and show you guys things without messing up the template for you guys to download. So if you arrive at the dashboard, this is going to be your main hub where you'll find everything you need to play through this challenge. On the left-hand side, we start with the rules and credits. So if you ever want to fall back on the rules that Kayla wrote herself, you can actually click here and it will link directly to the source document that she is using to also keep these rules updated. So if ever anything changes, you can always go back to the source rules here. Then below that, you can find the credits from obviously Kayla's own channel. You can find the credits to Rochelle's channel, who is the person who made all these amazing graphics, and you might recognize her name from the Llamas and Legends Legacy, which I also can highly recommend checking out if you haven't. And then I, of course, have made this tracker. Then below that, you'll find the master database, which is basically the big Excel table that holds all the information. If you're going to play through this challenge, you don't need to click it. You don't need to open it. If you're curious, if you're a Notion nerd like me, feel free to check it out, but there's no need to actually go in there and change things if you're just playing through it. Then in the middle of the dashboard, you will find the challenge progress. This is basically your progress bar that will show you how much you still have left to complete of the challenge. Because Kayla actually included optional goals and base game versions of this challenge, this will work slightly differently than you might have seen in any other of my Notion templates, because I wanted to make sure that you can customize this playthrough so it's actually tracking the goals that you are working on, but it's not tracking the goals that you're not working on. So I'm going to show you later on the generation card how that will exactly work. It is pretty easy and straightforward, so don't worry, you don't have to be a Notion wizard to understand this, but I just wanted to let you know that the tracker over here will only track the goals that you are actually playing through in this challenge. So if you're doing the base game version, you can adjust the template so it only tracks the base game goals, and this tracker will still go to 100% even though you're not completing all the pack goals, for instance. If you're just starting this challenge, I have made sure to link all of the general rules over here with a little toggle that you can open. These are also the rules that you can find in the general rules document. I just wanted to make sure that they're also available here so that it's easy for you to just get started with the challenge from this tracker. Then on the right-hand side, you will see your current generation. If you want to adjust this, I'll show you on the generation card where the little tick box is to basically mark your current generation, but I've just put it here so it's always easily accessible when you're playing through the challenge. Then if you scroll down, you can see all of the different generations, basically the 10 generations and the 10 different vegetables. From here, you can also click on them and open the card. It kind of depends on your personal preference whether you want to use this current generation box. You can also ignore it and just always open it from here. Now that we have the main dashboard basically covered, let's actually dive into the generational card. If you click it, it will automatically open in center view, but if you prefer to have it in full screen, you can just go up here in the top and just open it in full screen. If you open it from here, you'll basically see this first thing which says currently playing. That is the tick box that you need to tick for it to show up in that first right-hand section on the dashboard. From here, you can also click the button to go back to your home page. If you have used Notion before, you might be familiar with the little breadcrumb route that is at the top here. I wouldn't recommend clicking this because then basically you're going back to a database view and you might get a little bit lost. So I can always recommend just using the button over here to go back to the home page and then going here again to open it. Again, if you want to open it in full page, just open it over there. Then right below that, there's just some like information about how you can actually change the picture of your sim. And there are some recommendations for family tree services if you actually want to keep an extensive family tree, because in my personal opinion, Notion is not necessarily the best place for that. However, I do give you some options to keep track of your founder sim, so you can change their portrait, you can read their little backstory, and then I have made a table with all the information that you need to know. So the color of the first gen, because it's broccoli, is dark green. You can write their name yourself, you can write their gender or their pronouns yourself. You can then see what traits the default rules have, but if you don't have all the pack, or if you only have base game, I also listed the pack or base game alternatives to it. This way, it's hopefully easy for you to set up a sim from a generation and make adjustments where needed based on the packs that you have. This is all information that comes straight from Kayla's document, so if you're wondering where I got this information, this is all part of the original challenge. So if you ever find this table confusing, feel free to refer back to the original rules because she's described it super clearly in her document. From here, you can also see what aspiration you need to do and what aspiration we have as an alternative. Then you can see what career you need to do and what career there is to do as an alternative, and which packs are required to play through the default setup and which packs you can use as an alternative. Basically, that covers the base setup for your sim, and then from there, you're going to actually play through the challenge and keep track. As you can see here, you have a little header that says challenge progress and something that says no progress is checked. Basically, what that means is these are the default goals that come with the generation. So if you're playing through this challenge and you don't plan on making any adjustments, the challenge is ready to go and all you have to do is play through it and then tick a goal off as soon as you've reached it. However, if you, for instance, do not own businesses and hobbies, but you do want to play through this and you're going to make some adjustments by picking things from the base game, what you can do is you can actually click on this, it will open a card, and then there are two important buttons over here. You have the remove from playthrough and add to playthrough button. In this case, it's already being tracked, so if you click on the add to playthrough button, nothing will happen. Basically, what it will just tell you is we've added it to your playthrough tracker. However, if you want to remove it from this playthrough, you can click this one, and as you will see, it will also automatically move over here to the no progress is checked. Let's say that instead of running a small business for crafted goods, you're actually going to use the retail store system from Get to Work. You can click on that one and then say add to playthrough. Now it is in the first list at the top, meaning that it is tracked as a goal for that total progress tracker on your home screen. I tried to make this as intuitive as possible. I genuinely hope it feels intuitive to use, but what you can now do is you can start ticking off the goals over here, and if you tick off goals over here, it won't be tracked on the main dashboard. So you can customize which of the goals you're working on. If you are a very well-seasoned simmer and you even want to have like a more challenging challenge and you want to do bonus goals, or you want to pick up the base game goals alongside the default goals, you could even go in here and basically add all of them to your playthrough. This is fully customizable, it's fully up to you. I just tried to make it as intuitive as possible so that you don't need to download multiple templates and go into them and adjust them yourself based on whatever playthrough you're doing. Then, as you can also see, there are some goals like max 3 artistic skills of your choice, where basically there's a little checklist that was in the original challenge that told you which artistic skills you can actually pick from. I made sure to make it a little checklist, so let's say that you're going to work on the painting, the handiness, and the piano skill, and then you can basically tick them off, or you can keep track this way of which ones you've completed. It's kind of up to you how you want to use this to-do list. Also, good to know is that this entire page is basically just a notes page, so you can write whatever you want here. If you want to keep track of something, if you want to make some notes for yourself, this is just a notes page, and as soon as you've copied the template, you can write whatever you want. To give you a little demonstration, let's actually for funsies tick off all the boxes on Gen 1 because you've actually completed Gen 1. Then you can also tick off the currently playing over here because you're going to actually move on to Gen 2. So then you tick this one and you say currently playing. And let's say that you're well into Gen 2 as well, so you've already completed some of the goals. And then let's go back to the homepage. You will see that now it says current generation eggplant and that you've already completed 12.82% of the challenge. I think that basically covers the entire tour of this dashboard because the Very Veggie is not an incredibly complicated legacy. It follows the very simple simple rules of a legacy where you play 10 generations and there's goals that you need to complete for every generation. I have also made very extensive legacy trackers like the Ultimate Decades one. Those obviously required a little bit more instruction on how to use the template, but I think this one is pretty straightforward. And if you've used any of my prior templates, like the Not So Berry one or the 100 Baby Challenge one or any of the other more simple ones, this one should definitely not be hard to use. The only difference is that you can customize your playthrough based on the goals that you're picking. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be downloading this template and if you're playing through this challenge. And as a little bonus, I would love to hear the names of your very first gen. Did you guys all name them broccoli or did you go for something else? I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this playthrough and on this tracker. If you are downloading this tracker, feel free to toss the video a cheeky like because it does really help the video get to more people. And if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, I make videos about anything and everything The Sims, from mods to tutorials to my own playthrough of my self-written legacy challenge called the Pack Legacy Challenge. So if you want to check that out, feel free to head over to my channel, and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone!